Okay, so I'm here and I'm just waiting for Jimmy. And while I do that, just make sure I've got everything here. Yes. Hello. Great timing. Hi, Jimmy, is that you? Oh, wait. Let me make sure I got that. Ooh, is that on there? Can you hear me, Jimmy?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can. Yay. We did it. We did it. Okay. I'm so glad. I was wondering if I was too late. I was just a few minutes late, and luckily we both were. So it was perfect timing. Good to see your face. Always great to get an image of someone. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up something I've been working on. I'm going to actually pull up several things during this, and we're recording right now. So you'll have this for posterity. Whatever we discover during this, I don't even know what I'm going to discover during this. So I pulled up several charts, and I'm just going to show you this because I'm going to go cut the lights on real quick. But
Okay.
just see if I can find.
I see you like zebra too.
Oh yeah, I do. I'm addicted to it. Oh, you like zebra as well? That's awesome.
Yeah, see, I got my curtains up there.
Oh yeah, I'm into the whole animal kingdom. Capricorntigress, remember that? Okay, so let me see something here. I am looking for a particular thingy. Maybe what I need to do is shut down. Shut that down. No, you don't need to see that. Okay, give me 1 second. I think I know what's going on, and I'm going to shut down a couple of things. The problem is I have too many notepads open. So it's not even giving me the option of like the PowerPoint that I need, because it's like, do you need this? Do you want to do that? No. Okay, I'm trying to get the PowerPoint. So I'm going to shut down a couple of things here, and hopefully, like Aweber links. Like, who needs Aweber links, right? Okay, so let me try again. I've got this open. Here we are. Please tell me you're going to let me do it. And it could just be that I haven't saved it. I think that's what I'll do. Give me 1 second. It's not done, but I'm going to save it as a PDF. Let me do that. It may be because I'm working on like a Microsoft that's like for non-commercial use. I just realized that. So I figure if I do this PDF, maybe you'll be able to get to that with me. Let's see, let's try it again. We will try here. We go here. Zoom. Okay. Okay, there it is. I got them both now. I knew that was going to work. If you could see what I could see, you would understand. I've got a million things open. Okay, so I'm going to actually go to I guess the PowerPoint then. I don't need the PDF, although I know the PDF won't mess up on me. So I'll do the PDF. It's not completed, but it'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm working on. And when we're completed with this, not right away, it takes me a few days, and you'll understand why in a moment. What I do on top of the video is you're going to get a report. And usually by the time I'm done with the report is usually about 30, 40, maybe even 50 pages. It's going to be based on what we discuss here today, and you, basically you, your future, all of the aspects that I found. It's basically going to be a book about you. And it's why I charge what I charge, because it takes me weeks really to make this book. But it's your book, and that's what we're going to work on. And while we're making this video, we're going to go through a lot of the things that I've already pulled up, and then what they mean, and we're basically building your book. Okay, that's what we're doing, because this is a book about you. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this and give you an idea of what I've done. Of course, this is your future prediction reading. And what I do is I use a combination of your natal planets, your the transits that are affecting your natal planets, the progressions that are now affecting your life, and some of the tertiary progressions, which is more about your moon and how that progresses. So I'll be looking at all of that, and that's going to help me get a bigger picture of what your future is going to hold. It really gives me a bigger idea. So, you know, to start out, we did the first beginning reading, which is my introductory reading, to just get a basic idea of who you are, your personality, and, you know, everything that you stand for. And you are a Virgo sun with a Capricorn moon. This means that no matter what else is in your chart, you are here to work. You are a worker. You're actually someone subconsciously in your deep inner mind, in your heart, in your emotions, and your needs. Your security is based on ambition. You're not going to be happy unless you reach some type of ambitious goal. Until you can achieve that, you'll always feel a little niggling like, oh, man, I want to do this, or I didn't do that. But if you put your heart into it and you realize what you're here to do, I've been discovering after looking at your horoscope that you can save so much time. And I want to thank you so much for reaching out to me, because you've got a chart that is someone who would just kind of maybe bungle around, and eventually you would have got there, but without reaching out for the assistance. And obviously you have, because you told me you've talked to the other, was it a palm reader or a tarot reader or something like that? You're looking, you're seeking. And this seeking pattern is really evident in your chart. You are here to learn some things. So I'm going to go over several charts that I pulled up. This is the original chart, which is your natal transits and progressions. And before I start going into the charts, because once I start reading the actual charts, I don't know what I'm going to get. So I'm going to skip over that for a minute until I do that. But I just want to give you an idea about your luminary placements, which I was talking about a second ago. You've got your natal sun in Virgo, your natal moon in Capricorn. But do you see this here? Your sun and your ascendant by birth are they're fighting each other. Your personality, or maybe the image that you give off, versus your sun, which is your soul, which is your essence. Somehow they're not quite jiving yet. But the great thing about your chart, even though this Capricorn moon is not trine or sextile the ascendant like it should be, it makes this crazy, weird, what they call let's just say it creates a creative aspect between your sun and between your moon. And so you've got a lot going on there as far as your natal planets go, because the elements are positive, and so that's a good thing. Now, with your progressed luminaries, it was a little bit different. Literally now, your sun is opposed your moon right at this very minute, like right now. So you might be feeling like your emotions and your ego are pulling in two different directions. And I saw something about romance and love issues for you. This has a lot to do with your sun being in Libra. And, partnership and relationships is very important. But the moon is in Aries, and the Aries is playful, and that can get you in some trouble. I don't know how much you play it, but I can see where that can get into trouble. So we'll talk a little bit about that too. Your chart ruler placements. Now you've got your natal chart ruler is Mercury, and it's in a fate degree at 0 degrees of Virgo. It actually is in rulership. So you're thinking, your mind is probably the greatest gift that was given to you. I don't know if you realize that.
Yeah, I actually have.
Your mind, you are, And you should really work that, because that is your ruler. And no matter what you do, really honing your intelligence, your investigations, I mean, just learning all you can learn so that you can create the future you want. That's your vehicle to success is going to be your mind. Just know that. Okay? And the great thing is that Mercury, which is the ruler of the chart, is located in the sixth house of work. Back to work again. I'm telling you, your work is where you are going to find your success. Somehow, something you do, whether it's your own company or a company you work for, you'll find success in work. And, you know, we'll probably get into that too, but just know that's important work. The sixth house, when I discuss it, realize how important that sixth house is in your life. And now in your progress chart, which is why I thought about relationships, your progress ruler is Venus. And so love, you are the love man. Love is happening. I don't know if it's happening or it should be happening, because Venus is in Scorpio and Venus is in his detriment. Now, I happen to be born with Venus in Scorpio, and it's not that you can't find love. It's that you find love, and then maybe something's all messed up with it. You know, it's got problems, okay? And it's never quite perfect. And that's the thing with Scorpio Venus, or anything to do with Venus and Scorpio, no matter where it's at. But for you in particular, it's located in the 8th house of other people's money, sex, and death, and taxes. So I can see where sex is a very important issue on your mind all the time, as well as money and, you know, issues like that, very deep things. So we're going to go over that, and because now you know that's something that's really important in your life. You know, it's not like, there's a saying I have, and I kind of say it all the time. There are some things that people do, and there's some things that people are. And some of the biggest problems that are caused in life is when somebody feels that something in their life is something they're doing versus something they are. Because if it's something that's in you, trying to not be you is not cool. You gotta be you. The moment you stop being the essence of you, you're at odds with yourself. It's never gonna work. You've gotta be yourself, whatever that is, even if it's not, you know, that great. But in your case, I know Venus in Scorpio really, even when it's in detriment, it wants to be loved. You're looking for love. And we're going to figure out how maybe you can get to that. You know?
What does detriment mean?
Detriment means it's negative. It means it's in its fall. Now, when I said that Mercury was in its rulership, that means it's extremely positive. It's in the place where it's home. It's so natural. It feels so just itself. Like when you're thinking, you don't even stop to think what you're thinking. Your mind just constantly goes. You connect one dot to the next dot very easily. And not everyone can do that. And I'm sure in your conversations, when you're talking to people, you're picking up like, they just don't get what I'm thinking. They just don't understand me. They're not at my level. And you are a Virgo. So the possibility is they're not at your level. They're really not at your level. And you've got to accept that. You've got to accept that. These people may not understand a thing you're talking about sometimes, but accept that you are in a higher place mentally than most of your counterparts, and it'll be that way all your life. One of the things about Virgos is Virgos are humans. In the zodiac, you know, there's 12 signs of the zodiac, and in that zodiac, there are only certain signs that are humans. And a lot of astrologers don't pay attention to this, but I do. I pay a great deal of attention to it. Certain signs, we're talking about the sign of Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, and Virgo. Most people don't realize they're the only humans. And the specific humans are Gemini and Virgo. They're actual people. Virgo's the virgin or virginal, image, and Gemini are the twins. They're actual people all the time. Libra sometimes are just scales, and Aquarius sometimes is just a pitcher of water. So it's important to realize that you are one of two only real human signs in the zodiac. You're able to think and discern and to organize and to just analyze and rationalize things and see the big picture sometimes, when other signs just, they're dealing with little minute details where you can take it, compartmentalize it, and really see the big picture. And I can see, if you really hone your mercurial abilities, your mind can take you very far, because that's what you're here to do. You're here to expand that. It's not a mistake that you have your ruling planet in your sixth house. By the way, the sixth house is the house of Virgo. I don't know if you know that. It's so much Virgo. Do you understand? So when I said that, it probably went over your head that, hey, my ruler's in the sixth house. Oh, no. Yeah, that's major. That is you thinking very well. One of the big aspects of your chart that I picked up, and nobody really probably ever pays attention to it, is Pallas. You got so much Pallas and Lilith around the first house. And that's how I knew immediately that your interest was romance and love relationships. And that's because Pallas deals with romance, and Lilith is like the destroyer of romance. Well, I love Lilith, but she can be jealous, okay, and she can have issues that deal with those things. There could be chaos. It could get dark, and it's not that the sex isn't good. Lilith is great sex, you know what I'm saying? But it could be that something else emotionally powerful and overwhelming could be attached to the sex, and that can be the problem. I feel like when I looked at your chart, I saw a chart of someone who needs a good partner. And so I'm just thinking about that. But we'll be dealing with your Pallas being conjunct your ascendant. This means in this life, at least right now, because even in your progress chart, if you see over here, even in the progress chart, it's in the 12th house, but we're still dealing with Pallas around the first house, around the ascendant. And so that issue about your relationships is a very important issue in your life. And this is really indicated by your progression also being in Libra right now. The other thing I saw was in your progression, your transit in Chiron is conjunct Lilith in the first house. That concerned me because, first of all, Pallas is in the 12th house. Chiron is the wounded healer. Wherever it goes, it brings a wound. There might already be a wound. There might have been an argument. Something could have happened. You might be looking for love, not been able to find it. There's all kind of emotionally painful things tied into Chiron. And then when you connect them with Lilith in that first house, it makes me feel like it there's some issues that may have to be worked out around the area of love and romance, and also dealing with issues with your partner. Also, your progressed moon is in Aries, and this moon is in the first house. There might be this weird seesaw with you being independent and being in a relationship, like me be doing me versus me doing you with me. You see this? You see? So see, there we go. And that's actually indicated in your chart. Now, in your natal chart, we're going to go into this. I just wanted to show you, because I'm not going to go into this. I'm going to read the chart now, because I can go on forever. So let me go here. I'm going to look at this real quick. This is the first chart I pulled up. And this is showing the natal, the transits, and the progression. So we're going to go over this really quick. This is the one I went over with you to a certain extent before, but I think the planets were changing a little bit. I just wanted you to have a visual so you can see when I'm talking about these things, what I'm talking about. So that Pallas that I was referring to right here before, do you see how It's within 0 degrees. It's 36 degrees from the ascendant. That is not a mistake. When I see something like that, I'm like, what are you talking about? And do you see this Neptune? This Neptune is exactly transiting your first house right now. And so I'm like, there is something going over here with this confusion and with the self, but with Chiron here, this is a little bit of sadness. This is sadness. And here's Lilith. Lilith's right here. They're right on top of each other. That's sadness. You are opening up some old wounds that deal, or have maybe opened them up already, that deal with your personality, that deal with your physical self. And your progressed moon has also been in this area. And that is that moon we were just talking about, me versus thee. Now, here is your progressed sun. Look at that, sitting way over here. And this is the 7th house of partnerships. And Mercury's here too. I'm not sure if you're married or if you're just in a deep relationship, but you and your partner have having some deep talks lately. If you haven't, you've been thinking about a partner a great deal if you don't have one. And if you do have one, you've been talking a lot. And if you don't have one, I do suggest you get one. I know you want to be independent, and you've had your independence. Do you see how close this moon is to the 2nd house? This moon progressing, you got 2.5, 3 years max, 2 years max. Within the next 2 years, I expect your butt to settle down. Now, for real, I'm talking about internally, because the moon is going to go from being in the 1st house and, you know, having that Aries, I get what I want, I do what I want to, I get what I want financially, and I do what I want financially. The issue is going to go focus off of you as an individual, and the focus is going into your pocket. It's going into your money. It's going into what you have to give. And you'll feel this urge to give more and to have more and to grow more. You're going into a period of growth. And there's your emphasis on everything, on life is going to change, because everything's going to be about making that money. And you got about 2 years before you really delve into that. And when I say 2 years, I mean once your moon progresses into that 2nd house, it's not coming out for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just know that. That is going to be, you're forming the new essence of you, and it's starting. You might even already start feeling that urge to start making bank. Like you feel it. Yeah. I don't know.
That's my goal. By the time I'm 40, I want to be a millionaire.
See, I knew it. You feel that. You feel that. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, that is not a mistake. You've got Taurus in that 2nd house, and your progressed moon is eventually going to hit its own home in Taurus. And when it does, and Uranus is going through the 7th house, the 2nd house for the next 6 years, by the way. And your progressed ascendant is in the 2nd house. It's telling me that not only is your emotions and your security and just what you need from, you know, just to feel secure in this world is all going to be tied into what you own and what you possess, like your money. And I always say money, but the 2nd house rules more than just money. It's your comfort. It's your security too. Like the creature comforts of life. You don't want to be poor. You don't want to be looking threadbare. That's not the life you're here to live. And you won't be. Believe me. I'm sure of it. Once these things really start kicking in, like I say, you got 2 years max before you really start feeling that money. And just in case you're like, this astrologer, she don't know what she's talking about. No. On top of that, okay, you've got your progressed ascendant almost, do you see this? Almost on your natal moon. So close, it's the same 2 years almost. Do you see that? Oh, 18 months to 2 years. When that midheaven hits that moon, and this progressed moon hits that second house. Whatever you're working on, I want to be a part of it. I'm just saying that right now. Because you about to make some money. And on top of that, the same 2-year period, I just want you to see what I see. Okay. Do you see this Mars up here, right here?
Yes.
It's almost the same 18 months. Do you see that? It's almost right here on this Jupiter. Jupiter, luck in your career. This is your natal. That's not going nowhere. Mars is almost, matter of fact, Mars is about to hit that right now. Right now. It starts now. Let me see this. Where's that Mars? Oh, wait. This Mars is in Capricorn, right? Yeah. That's your progress. Oh, that's the progress Mars. Look at that. That progress Mars is right on it right now. Okay, I just look at this. Jupiter's at 3 degrees. Do you see that? Progress Mars, 3 degrees.
Oh, wow.
This is your 10th house of career. Right now, right this very minute, as I'm talking to you, right now, I don't know if you're advertising whatever you're doing. I don't know if you even know yet what you're supposed to be doing. But
I have no idea.
Whatever it is, get on it right now. I believe if you start your progress toward wealth right now, in the month of October even, right this minute, like today, in 2 years, when that progress moon hits that second house, wealth is definitely coming. You are not going to be able to miss it. It's not going to miss you. It's impossible, I think, because you've got so much time of it sitting in the second house. It's not going to go. Once it gets in there, it's going to sit there for a while and marinate. And you as a person were born with your sun on the descendant, which is why I know relationships are important to you, by the way. You were born literally to be in a relationship. And no matter how much you think you weren't, it's not true. You were. And it's actually in the 6th house. So the weird thing is, I don't know if you met your partner at work or if, anything like that, but that is a possibility. If you haven't, know that you could. Okay. Because your sun is sitting right there, the descendant in the 6th house. The 6th house is work. The descendant is the marriage line. Work, marriage. Yeah. It also could mean to work with your marriage partner. So if you guys start like a home business or some type of independent venture, you could pull your wife into it probably if, once you get one, if you don't have one. But let me say this.
I'm divorced now from the first one. So
can I ask what sign she was?
Cancer. Why you say that?
Because several reasons. First of all, Cancer is on your 5th house right here. And you just, right now, and by the way, you're going to be able to find love again. I want you to know that no matter what you're going through, please know that. Okay. Because the 5th house is Cancer. I'm not saying that wasn't love. I'm just saying 5th house is more romance and stability. Your 7th house has Libra. I'm not saying you're supposed to be with one. I'm just saying that's where 7th house is. Also, Virgo, okay, there is 16 degrees of Virgo here. Now, Virgos are a little critical, but I see Virgo and Libra on the 7th house, especially since I know you had that Aries in the 1st house. So with Aries and Libra on the 7th, you going for Cancer means there were squares. There was anger. There were fights. There was bickering. And there might have even been cheating. And so, yeah. And here's the thing. Your moon is in Capricorn opposing the 5th house. Lord, shouldn't have been with no Cancer. I shouldn't have been with no Cancer, boy. I wouldn't get to have you with no Cancer. But you know why you did it? Because the moon always indicates, like, you wanted a moon woman. Your moon is in Capricorn, and it's so highly placed. And she might have been a friend because your moon is in the house of friends. So somebody you met, maybe met her at church or something, I don't know, a house of friends, and you saw her in her little moon. You were attracted to that moon. But the thing is, Cancer, it's romance, and it'll pull you in every time. But that romance ends because once you go into marriage, this house is pretty much squaring this house. And this house is the house where you live in your actual marriage. It's not that a Cancer couldn't make a pleasant marriage. It's that it would be very hard with this there.
For 10 years, it was hard.
It's very hard. It's work. You felt like you had to work. And you shouldn't have to feel that way. It should not be that way. I'm telling you, if you find yourself a Virgo, I would actually say a Virgo or, well, I don't know how much I would go with Capricorn because that might be a little issue too, but you could do that. But I would say a Virgo for sure. Definitely a Virgo. And at this time, maybe even a Taurus. Maybe even a Taurus because the sex will be good, I think. But and I happen to know that your ascendant has progressed into Taurus, so you might be able to attract one. And I think it'll flow with your moon, it'll flow with your sun, and because they're both ruled by Venus, it'll flow with your 7th house, and that will be giving you the Venus that you need because you got Venus in the 7th house, without it being an actual Libra, because a Libra might cause some problems with these same houses again. So I'm thinking Virgo or Taurus. They might be a little. Oh, give me. Who was that you were going to say?
What about an Aquarius?
I see an Aquarius, but here's the thing: I would be more scared about an Aquarius than the two I just mentioned, and I'm going to tell you why right now. I married a 12th houser. And I'm just going to be so honest with you right now about what I went through, because what you're talking about is what I did. Okay. So the guy I married has a whole bunch of 12th house, and it's not my 12th house. So it might be a little different than the scenario I'm giving, but I love him. We got married. It's like a beautiful thing. He actually falls more down like around here, like you were going through before. But what would happens is every time the man gets drunk, he gets ignorant. I love him. He's perfect when he's not drunk. He gets to a certain point after about 3 or 4 wines when I just hang up on him. Now, everybody's got their something, but just know that if you go into a 12th house relationship, there's going to be that one hidden skeleton or something that's happening. Now, hold on, I'm going to put the light on. I just realized all I got is the sun coming in, and I forgot to put the light on. Oh, no, 1 second. Okay, that should give me a little bit of light. Okay. Yeah, so you're looking at a situation where, you know, especially since you've got Pallas in the 12th house natally and right now, I would enjoy the sex. And here's the thing. It's not bad, though, because you've got some Libra in the 7th house. And so that's trining Aquarius. It's just a natural 5th house form, you know, aspect. The aspect is trine from your 7th, which is not bad. It's actually romance again. I would enjoy it, as you know, but just know that there could be that hidden skeleton, that thing that comes out of nowhere. Like you're like, wait, you were perfect for 6 months. What the heck? You see what I'm saying? It's the hidden thing. Okay. I don't know if you ever saw this. I'm thinking about Chris Rock. And Chris Rock said, when you meet somebody, you don't meet the real person. You meet in their representative. Okay, remember that. So you might not know what's down deep in that Aquarius. Aquarius is a little different, and something could go awry, but you don't know it until it's, you know, all of a sudden you realize, oh, that's the real one. There she is. Yeah, yeah. And if you can deal with that, then okay. But as an astrologer, I'm going to tell you to just gently walk around, enjoy the sex, enjoy it, enjoy it. Because let me tell you why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Okay.
Do you see up here, right here in the 9th house, Uranus is the natural ruler of Aquarius. For you, it's conjoined your Mars. That is crazy, out of the blue, something weird, scary, aggression, anger, sudden. Okay, it could be, I'm not saying they're going to suddenly kill you. I'm not saying they're going to suddenly harm you, but it's so sudden and out of the blue, and it's Mars, so it might be an aggressive in its nature. I can't guarantee that would happen with every Aquarius, but I would be kind of mindful of it when I see that it's such a tight conjunction.
Okay.
So, you know, and this goes for Sagittarius too. Oh my God, with your Pisces, don't go with no Sag. Lord, ooh, avoid them, Lord, please avoid them. So I would say, you know,
did happen with a Sagittarius.
you have, you've already been done that. Oh my God,
that was my first one too, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. Just it was out of the blue, like she was just flipped one day. It was pretty wild.
That's what I'm talking
She
about.
was so perfect. At
Out
first.
of the blue, right? You thought she was normal, and like what? Yeah, that's indicated. That's a shame. I would have, if you would have came to me, you could have avoided that. Because the first thing I would tell you is like,
great though, I will say that.
oh my goodness, that is a very tight conjunction. So anybody that's dealing with that, and you've got Aries rising, which is the ruler of Mars. So that, and here's the thing, you're attracted to the Aquarius because you've got you don't have Aries rising, but you have Aries in the first house. To me, it's almost like it. It's like having it intercepted almost. But that's one of the reasons. Your Aquarius and her, I mean, your Aries in the first and her Aquarius might be sextile. I would have to do her chart just to see where the planets between the two of you are falling, because it may be that there's enough positive between her Aquarius and your Aries, or her Aquarius and your Libra, especially that see this Venus over here? This is Venus in Libra. That's your 7th house. Okay, so wow. You know, someone trining that or sextiling that, which is why you probably were with that crazy Sag. She probably sextiled this. Yeah. And that, you know, that would happen. You know, you could do a Leo. A Leo would, I actually am leaning more toward Leo than Aquarius. Especially now with the North Node in Leo. It's in your 5th house. Did you know that? I mean, it's another 5th house situation, but it's not square. What's that again?
What about someone on the cusp of Cancer and Leo?
That could work. Well, here again, we're dealing with, whenever you're dealing with Cancer, remember, they're going to pull up some issues with the personality, and then there's going to be some issues with the marriage because of the natural square to these. But with it being Leo, especially if it's the early degrees of Leo, like if it was a Cancer sun at 29 or 28 degrees, that would technically still be sextile this Venus. But say if it was someone that was, you know, earlier than that, I wouldn't, because then there's no connection. There's maybe the connection to the Verdi, which this is kind of like past life. So this is I bet the wife that you're divorcing probably was a Cancer right around 23 degrees of Cancer, because You probably were married to her in a past life. That you know, the instant attraction because of the past life thing with the Virgo there. But I'm thinking that the real attraction is going to come from the Venus. And so, yeah, if that person really was cuspy, that would mean they would be at 27, 28, 29, 30 degrees, you know, right around there, 1 degree, Leo, somewhere in there. So that they're within 7 or 8 degrees of this Libra Venus in the 7th house. If they can make a sextile, a trine, or conjunction to it, then I believe that's your positive relationship. So, you know, of course, that I would stay away from the Sag. We've already discussed that. So they're out. But the Leo Cancer cusp, maybe. I definitely would look at that. And an Aquarius at 5 degrees or 0 degrees or even up to 10 degrees, maybe I could see that. The 10 degrees would make me a little iffy because, well, no. If they have their Venus in Aquarius, see how you have your Mars up here? I would need to see their chart. Let's just say that, because you've got a very unique horoscope, okay? Really, everything's pretty much in a locomotive right here. It's just right up there, all bundled together. But I added in asteroids and the node and Chiron to see if there was any other emphasis down lower in your chart. And when I did that, I found this palace, which is where I found that you had the relationship pain. And then I saw Lilith in the 1st house, which with Chiron transiting on it. And then I realized, oh my God, that's more relationship pain. And then I saw, you know, the North Node is down here at 1 degree of Gemini. And, you know, Chiron is there too. And this is natally. This means you do communication. There might be some issues with communication. And so I start thinking about that. This is basically your handle. Your handle is your communication. And so I'm wondering, you know, as a person, if I had to tell you what to focus on, really, I would say in your community, around your local community, for sure, I believe right now you could possibly find romance in your local community. And that's because this area here is, you know, 3rd house. It rules like your neighborhood, local community, maybe just doing local things like shopping, going to the store, driving around. It's right there. But this North Node in the 5th house, if you're really looking for love now, is actually sextile this right now. Actually, this and this are trine. So if you get someone who is, say, a Leo with early degrees, that is a wonderful little, you know, like a little yacht almost. It's wonderful. It's like pointing the finger here at this North Node. So I hope that if you get out in your neighborhood and start, you know, talking and communicating with people, I do believe you will be able to find a possible partner right there. That, like you said, the Cancer Leo cusp, that might actually work. And you also have that power. There's power in your 11th house, and transiting Lilith is also in the 11th house, and so is your progressed midheaven. I believe that you can also find relationships through friends and through associations, like out and about in clubs or organizations or in the neighborhood. That's sort of indicated here. I think also any kind of work that you do is also going to do it for you right now. One of the things I also see, I'm not really sure if this is possible, but there is the possibility of finding an Aries in the late degrees of Aries.
Was an Aries in high school.
See, and that's something, I don't know why. I was just thinking that. I'm thinking, wait a minute, with this is opposite, right? But if you found that, it would just, the way it would teeter up here, it would be so close to the progress, like if they were in the late degrees. Look at this right here. It would be very positive, I think, for you. And the sex would be really good. So that is one of those things. You might want to even consider that. And also a man is usually attracted to where his moon is. And so, which is why I thought it was so weird that you went for the Cancer, which is opposite your moon. That was, when you said that, I was like, he went opposite his moon. And which is, you know, Cancers are ruled by the moon. So you were, I could see how Cancer pulled you in because you have the progressed moon through the first house. It was, I could see how that would have happened.
Cancers are some beautiful people, I'll tell you.
They are. They're beautiful. Their countenance is beautiful, like visually. Usually have big, pretty faces. And my daughter has Cancer rising, so I know she's a beauty queen. Literally, she was Mrs. American's Beauty 2016. So I know what that means. That they're very beautiful people. Your ascendant here, by the way,
she's a Cancer on the cusp of Leo. Her birthday is July 22nd.
Oh, she's July 22nd. Oh, she is. That's why you married her.
No.
Oh, that's not the one you married.
No.
That's the one you're dating, or you wanted.
The one I married, I guess she was on the cusp almost of Gemini. She was June 20.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the Aquarius is February 9th.
It's not. That's probably right in the smack in the middle. Right smack in the middle. The Aquarius, like I said, I don't even like saying this. I don't want to call anybody a side piece, but I'm just saying the sex is good with the Aquarius, I'm sure. But you know, I don't like calling anyone a side piece, but that's your side piece. I'm so sorry. Because you know, see that that's your 12th house. That's your 12th house. That's not here. That's your side piece. Your woman is over here somewhere. That's what I'm saying. That sounds horrible to say that, but
I'll tell you, I'm tired of dealing with Cancers. And
I would stay away from Cancer.
It's boring.
I would say, you know why it's happening, because of the 5th house element, but don't forget you also have Leo there. And I personally think that the Leo is going to vibe better with the parts of you that have the Aries and the Libra in the 7th house versus the, you know, you're going to them because you've got 16 degrees of Pisces on the 1st house and 16 degrees of Virgo on the 7th. But you also have Libra and Aries on this axis. And it's weird because you have a strange first and 7th house axis where you have both Pisces, Virgo, and Aries, Libra. And so the emphasis in the relationships are different too, because, you know, the Pisces, Libra is more like spiritual and work. And the Aries is more like me and my relationship. And so there's been a lot of problems probably because you keep going to that Cancer, probably looking for the security of the moon that you've got top of your chart. And the only thing that's going to give you that security is probably your work life and your friendships, your ambition and your like associations and groups and things. That's where you're going to find your greatest joy, I believe, or at least your security, because that is important.
When you said that I could possibly find true love at work and everything, the Aquarius I met through my job.
Isn't that funny?
And honestly, like she balances me out a lot.
I wonder if I could do her chart. I bet you she might be more than a side piece. Like she may have something to her that is really pulling you to her, because you know you have your progressed sun in Libra, And you've got your progressed Mercury in Libra. And you've got your progressed moon in Aries. And so there is an affinity there. Any Aquarius is going to be either both trine and sextile. Though you said she was on the 9th. I bet she's sextile the sun and the moon and trine, sextile the sun and the Mercury and trine the moon. And that is a very good relationship. And sometimes having a good, decent relationship is way more than having all the bells and whistles and fancy fare of romance, like that kind of romance. Because if you can find someone that you can gel with on a deep level where you can communicate and your two spirits can sit in the same house and feel at peace, that's everything. And it really is important that if this girl has some things that are around this Virgo area, you know, because you met at work, that would be even better, because not only did you meet at work, you might be able to do something with her in your work, because that's where you're going to find a lot of joy when you're being ambitious. If the two of you are doing something in a group together or working together, it's only going to really build the bond. And so it would be interesting to actually do her chart. I could do a synastry chart for you guys if you do get serious and you want a synastry reading or something like that, where I actually compare her planets and your planets, and then we come up with like a composite chart, and it kind of is like the relationship, and it tells about the relationship. And so, you know, I would definitely suggest that if you get serious with an Aquarius, because no matter.
I got 2 years, and it's funny because me and her spoke about within 2 years, really moving forward with a lot of different things, because we're both, you know what I'm saying, going through some other stuff right now, but we're thinking about moving forward with us.
Now, is she free now, or is she in a relationship?
She's in a relationship that's ending also.
Okay. That's that 12 house. I knew that was something like that. Whenever I see,
we've been friends before anything.
Friends, yeah.
And everything, and I chased her.
You know, so far what you're telling me though, friends, work, it's all coming together here. Like
I waited on her. She recently reached out to me.
Oh yeah, and my thing is, like I said, if her planets, which I think they probably are, trining and sextiling these, this is why you're attracted. This is why you're being pulled together right now. So yeah, I would definitely want to look a little deeper into that, because just to make sure what squares and stuff might come up once you get into a full relationship. But it's so far that looks actually halfway decent to me. And the good thing about that too is that even though, don't forget this craziness over here, that'll occur. Believe me, that could just be the fact that she's getting out the relationship, and that could be her ex-husband coming every once in a while to mess with y'all. That could be that.
Or my ex-wife. That crazy Cancer doesn't like her. She pulled my hair out because I used to have dreadlocks that were as long as your hair. She pulled them out.
Oh my God! Why you marry a crazy Cancer? They're so emotional.
I didn't know. I should have. My little brother's a Cancer, but he's not as emotional.
Not as crazy as that one. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, you.
And then, another thing, they always say a man looks for a woman like his mother, or finds a woman like his mother, and all this and that. And you were saying how I was attracted to the moon that I saw in her and all this and that. My mother's a Capricorn.
Oh.
And my mother's mother was a Capricorn too, rest dead. And that was my closest grandmother. She was like my mother.
Wow. That is so weird that you went to Cancer instead of Capricorn. But it's the moon. It was the moon that you saw. You saw that moon and it was like a beacon. And like you said, they're pretty. They're pretty. So when you see those big moon faces and those big eyes, that's it. You're done. And you got to be careful. You're not the only man who falls for the the image. And this is really indicated for you in particular. And I think now you're wise enough, you know now, because you got Venus in the 7th house. For you, no matter what, you're attracted first because they're visual. You know, you have to be visually attracted to the person that you're with. And that's how it happens. You know, you get with someone because, oh, they look fine. And then you get with them and you find out they're crazy that this is going on. So yeah, I give that Aquarius a shot, but just know, telling you, my girlfriend got some skeletons. She's Aquarius, and you got this in your chart. I don't know how it's going to happen, but you've been with some crazy emotional women.
Yeah.
And her crazy emotional may be just the speed you're looking for. Because Aquarius crazy emotional is not the same as a Cancer crazy emotional.
She revealed like a lot of her skeletons to me.
Right.
And I remember some of her deepest, darkest secrets that she never wanted, her husband doesn't know.
Right.
So they didn't even know about.
They're much more intellectual, aren't they? They're very much more.
Carry an adult conversation, like we don't have to break things down for each other. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's really a beautiful thing.
And that's probably, that means more to you than anything. Be able to communicate.
Especially at this age. I mean, I just turned 34.
Yeah.
You know, and at this age, it's really important, you know.
I just noticed something else. Your
dreams.
Yeah. I just noticed that your Mercury is actually in 0 degrees of Leo. And that is really a fate degree, but that would mean that any, like if she has her Mercury or any of her planets down, you know, early Aquarius, that would be opposing that. But that's opposites attract again. So I really wish I had her chart. Because I realize now that, you know, here you've got some of this here, the fact that this Aquarius and you met at your work life, it makes me wonder what else is going on in her chart. Because I see where the attraction is right now because of the progressions. This is, you know, this is you. You've had your planets progressing into here for quite some time now. And so I could see where that Aquarius would be pulled in. But this here, I guess in a way that's almost like, that would be Cancer. I would love to see her chart. So I'm going to go down to the next one I've done. Now this is natal transits and progressions as well. This was an old one, but as you can see, they move along. And as I look at this one, I can see that now Neptune is completely on your ascendant. It's conjuncted exactly. And when I see that, it tells me I need to let you know to be cautious, to just be wary of making sure you see everything that is there. Okay, because Neptune, I have Neptune on the 10th house at birth. But, you know, Neptune is a very nebulous planet. And you've got Neptune really up on your midheaven almost. It's like 7, 8 degrees here, 8 degrees. 7, yeah. So, you know, Neptune makes things very hazy. I'm not saying that you're sitting around getting high and drinking all day, but I am saying you need to watch out for sitting around getting high and drinking all day, because Neptune is one of those planets that just makes us either cry or drink or just want to go and get high or just watch Netflix all day and not do what we need to do. And so with that there, I can see.
I do love watching movies and Netflix and all that. And I have an occasional drink and I might have a cigar.
That's a good thing. There's probably something in you that knew to avoid that. And look at that. Your ascendant is opposing your sun in the 6th house. So if you've managed to avoid that, that is a beautiful thing, because it's something I don't have to worry about and you don't have to worry about. But just know this Neptune is going to go through this first house. And when Neptune is going through the first house, it makes people very nebulous. I know in the 12th house, it makes you very sleepy. I slept for like 7 years. I swear, I feel like I did. But, you know, it also makes a person very creative. And so I have a feeling that you've got a vast amount of creativity in you. Like, I don't know what kind of work you do, but the creative ability there is off the chain. Like, I hope you're doing something with it, especially with your moon up, you know, in Capricorn, very high like that. Neptune sitting up on the midheaven like that. Jupiter really close to it, conjunct actually, in the 10th house. I hope you're doing something with that creative ability that you've been given. And also, I again think, yeah, be careful with this Lilith. I just say whatever relationship you get into, just make sure you see the big picture, whatever it is. If you have to write it down, write out your pros, write out your cons, write out your reasons for pursuing or not pursuing. Like, I would say almost everything you do from this point on, because look, it starts really now. It's on it now, like exactly. So, you know, Neptune spends a lot of time in a sign. And so you're looking at years, I'm talking years of Neptune sitting up here in your first house. And so I would suggest that you are someone that writes down everything, everything. Keep a journal, keep a chalkboard, even a blackboard. I mean, you've got your probably your computer, your phone, but I mean, even like physically writing things so that you've got notes and stickets and everything, because confusion could become a problem. And I'm glad you don't drink or do drugs, because
I mean, I have a drink, but I don't do any drugs.
right, I'm glad you don't.